Senator Bernie Sanders, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your number one question for the Fed chairman?
My number one question is, will he support me in trying to end the conflicts of interest which presently exist at the Fed? As you know, right now, the CEO of the largest financial institution in this country, Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan Chase, sits as a member of the New York Fed. And right now, what you have is bankers sitting on all of the regional Feds. Chris, this to me smacks of enormous conflict of interest. It's something that has got to end. We need a Fed that starts representing ordinary people, the middle class, Main Street, not Wall Street. We've got to get the bankers off of the Fed, and I'll be asking the chairman, Mr. Bernanke, whether he supports that legislation.
And the markets are watching this very closely, as they always do when a Fed chairman speaks. Do you think he'll be hesitant to make news, given everything that's going on, and so maybe hesitant to answer your questions?
Well, I hope he does. I hope he does. And the other issue I think we have got to deal with long term is that, in my view, this economy does not get stronger if we continue to have the incredible concentration of ownership on Wall Street that we currently do. Most people don't know this, but the 6 largest financial institutions in America have assets, Chris, equivalent to 2/3 of the GDP of the United States, over $9 trillion. Now, you tell me, if Teddy Roosevelt were alive today, what he would be saying is, we got to break these guys up. We need more competition in the financial marketplace. It's wrong that these 6 banks are producing half of the mortgages in America and 2/3 of the credit cards.
And to the average American who's sitting out there and worried about the economy, he watched what happened at the stock market last Friday. How does this help?
Oh, it helps a great deal, because what it says is if you have competition in the financial industry rather than the concentration of ownership, maybe, just maybe, we're going to see Wall Street start investing in the productive economy, creating jobs, goods, and services, rather than continuing to maintain the world's largest gambling casino, which is what Wall Street has become. The American people want jobs. They do not want trillions and trillions of dollars being placed on risky bets, which have already done this country a disaster and can lead us down the road, in my view, to another Wall Street bailout. People want investment in small business. They want job creation, and that's what we've got to do.
And people also want, as I'm sure you know, for Congress to get busy, for Congress to do something about the economy. And we're reading this morning about the secret meetings that are going on with the Gang of 6 and some other senators who are trying to lay the groundwork for a deal. Is there, do you think realistically, a chance for some kind of grand bargain when it comes to things like tax cuts, entitlements? Is something serious in the works?
Well, I surely hope so. The American people are very clear. They believe that it is absurd that at a time when the top 1% are doing phenomenally well while the middle class is declining, and when the top 1% are paying a lower effective tax rate than at any time in decades, the American people overwhelmingly, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, say we've got to ask the richest people in this country to start paying their fair share of taxes. We have to do away with these huge tax loopholes that enable large corporations to pay nothing in taxes. We have also, in my view, got to take a hard look at military spending, because the United States now spends more than the rest of the world combined. But if you're asking me, do I think when Social Security has not contributed 1 nickel to our deficit that we're going to cut Social Security? No, this senator will not support that. When you got 50 million people without any health insurance, do I think you cut Medicare and Medicaid? No, you don't. We have the most unequal distribution of wealth and income in the industrialized world. The wealthy and the large corporations are going to have to play a role in shared sacrifice. It cannot simply fall on the backs of the middle class and working families.
Senator Bernie Sanders, I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a busy morning for you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.